Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Walters Wanderings Travel Podcast. I'm your host, Scott Walters. Today, we are going to talk about the universal truth, Universal Resorts in Orlando and in California, with Amanda from Universal. And she has a lot of great information she's going to share. But before we get to her, what I do want to let you know is if you do book a Universal Resorts or Orlando vacation for 4 days or more, or if you book 3 days or more in California, I will make sure that you get $50 to use for souvenirs or an extra butterbeer or whatever you want to use when you're at the Universal Resorts. There's lots of nooks and crannies and lots to explore. So right now, let's introduce Amanda from Universal. Thank you for hopping on board the podcast today.
My pleasure, Scott. Thank you so much for having me. I absolutely love talking about Universal. It has a special place in my heart even before I joined, which caveat here, Scott, I actually only joined back in April. So I'm almost at my 6 months inning here as an official employee of Universal.
Well, that's great. So ask a question. What did you do before you hopped on board the Universal Express here?
Yeah, I've pretty much always been in travel, Scott. I love travel. It's a passion of mine ever since I went on my first airplane trip as a young 6-year-old back when I lived in the UK. We would always venture out to somewhere we could find some sunnier weather for our vacation. So ever since I did that, I was absolutely hooked on travel and knew I wanted to be part of it. So I've been working in the travel industry pretty much my entire career. Prior to joining Universal, I had pretty much worked with, always with travel advisors, but worked with booking technology platforms, right?
Oh, okay.
So, allowing you to kind of customize trips in different ways, but we were always aggregating inventory from lots of other sources. So I was kind of more generic, talking about technology and the platforms versus an actual product to get excited about.
Right. You were a geek, and you've obviously ungeeked yourself.
Yes. Now I'm just like a different type of geek. I just geek out of all the fun stuff that we've got going on over here.
All right. So now Universal in Florida has 3 different parks. We have the original Universal Studios, we have the Islands of Adventure, and then we have the Volcano Bay, which is a water park. And also attached to Universal is upcoming a new theme park, which we'll get to, but it's not opening until 2025. But we'll still let you know that it is on the way. And there are many different hotel resorts that you can stay at on Universal property and adjacent to Universal property that get you certain privileges and rights when you stay there. And so that's the Universal in the very condensed version. So we're going to break it down. So let's talk about the 3 current parks. Let's talk first about the original Universal Studios Florida and some of the great features that are available for people who want to go and experience the movies there.
Yeah, thank you, Scott. So yeah, what I do want to say is that we are a destination, right? Like you're not just kind of this one-stop add-on. You can truly come to Orlando and spend, a good 4 or 5 nights here on property and never have to leave because we do have so much to do from, the minute that the park opens, which if you book with you, Scott, you can do that early park admission. You get that, which means that your guests can get in an hour early and beat the crowds. So that's a good tip.
That's crucial at times, especially during high seasons, to be able to have that extra hour. You can get on 3 or 4 attractions before, for lack of a better term, the heathens show up.
Yes, exactly. But what I love about it, actually, Scott, is that right now one of our most popular rides is Hagrid's, the motorcycle ride, and currently that one does not participate in our Universal Express program. Which we'll talk about that in a little more detail too. But what we have with the hour early is most people kind of get in, they run over to Hagrid's so that they can get on before the lines start getting super kind of crazy. I did it myself a couple of weeks ago and it worked out really, really well. But yeah, we are a true destination, Scott. It's what I really want to get across is, I still being here for 6 months. I hear, I'm working with new clients. I'm working with clients that are new to us, but those that have been working with us for a while. And what I always hear is they always refer to us as Universal Studios. Universal Studios, and which is understandable because, as you mentioned, that was our original park. And we'll talk about that, but there's a lot more to us than just Universal Studios. We are an entire resort. So Studios is great. It was the original here in Orlando. It is that kind of that nostalgic movies, those classic movies that we love. And what I absolutely adore about it is that, I have an 11-year-old, and, there's definitely movies that I grew up on, like E.T., for example, Jurassic Park, that because now she's coming to Universal, she's having this new affinity for those movies as well. And it's a great way for us to connect and to share a piece of my childhood with my daughter's childhood.
Well, I do want to say my first visit to Universal was in 2004.
Okay.
So, and it was only the Universal Studios Orlando Park with E.T. and Men in Black, and yes, even Jaws was there then. And things change and things evolve, and that's okay, And but I will say that from there till now, almost 20 years later, the expansion and the innovation is truly remarkable. I just want to, before we go on and talk about some of the experiences, I do have to give full disclosure that even though you say getting in early helps you with Hagrid's, I rode Hagrid's at night. I did wait in a line for about 2 hours, but and the night was falling and the sun had just set, so it was like the just beyond the golden hour.
Yes.
And I was in the front of Hagrid's. I was in the front car of Hagrid's, and oh my gosh! And no spoiler alerts. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody who hasn't been, but the difference between riding that ride in the daytime, which I have, and that ride at night is just truly off the charts remarkable. So if you do have the patience to wait in the queue, I would go ahead and suggest doing that as part of your Universal day. Now, at Universal, one of the main attractions is the Harry Potter themed areas, and what people have to realize is Universal was very smart, and they put about half of it in the Universal Studios Florida and half of it in the Islands of Adventure, which is a really smart thing. So what clients have to do, what the tourists have to do to get the full on experience is get what they call the park to park ticket, which I can certainly arrange for them. Because with the park to park ticket, you get the train that goes between the two sides of the Harry Potter land, and the Harry Potter experience is made complete when you're on the trains because each train ride is its own unique experience. And I've actually been on with a scooter, and I can tell you that, yes, you can do it. So for accessibility things, you don't have any issues. In fact, I will say Universal is a very, very, very well done park for accessible people and accessible issues. So I wanted to throw that out there too. So let's talk about the Harry Potter experience. And again, what's the best way to attack those parts of the parks?
I would definitely say, depending on what your level of enthusiasm is for Harry Potter, right? Because you've got those, absolutely like diehard fans that's the first thing that they're going to do, and they're pretty much going to spend most of their time there. It's not just a ride. It's a full immersive experience where you can have breakfast there, you can have lunch there, you can have dinner there, and then we've got the rides in between. We have a shutter buttons experience as well, where clients can go, or guests can go and kind of don the robes of Harry Potter and pick up their wand, and they can basically reenact certain scenes from the movie, create a keepsake DVD. They can take these photos there. It's a full studio session. To really kind of feel like they are truly part of the movie. Again, that's something that you can do. There's tons of unique little shops. Of course, there's the wand that you can have that experience where you go and select the wand. or the wand selects you?
No,
I should say.
the wand. No, listen, one second. The wands selected my son years
Yeah,
ago,
the
and
wand selects
and and
you.
and you know what? You're at that point as a parent, you're a captive to the wand too. So the wand also chose my wallet as well as my son. But I will say those little interactive vignettes where you can do the wand at different places are truly stunning, and they're really quite nice. And yes, there is a fire breathing dragon that will breathe out fire every once in a while on one side, and you have the great rides on both sides. It's truly remarkable, and the attention to detail, even getting down to things like the butter beer and having the train conductor there and everything else, really actually makes the Harry Potter. Even if you're not into Harry Potter, you will be amazed by the look and the feel and the fact that you think that you're actually in that realm.
Yes, I mean they really take it every detail seriously. I know J.K. Rowling was very collaborative during the whole creative process of both of the Harry Potter worlds that we have. To the point where, water bottles, for example, we can't serve regular branded water bottles. They are branded to the Harry Potter theming, because she wanted everything to be like you are truly immersed there. And if you're not going to find that, in Diagon Alley or at Hogwarts, you're not going to find it in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter at Universal either. So it's very, very authentic.
Yes, and the Hagrid's ride is in the Harry Potter portion at the Islands of Adventure. So you need to, again, my basic touring plan would be, if you want to get there early, you can get there early. You get in line, you do that first, and you can knock off the rest of the items over in the Islands of Adventure part. You take the train across. You'll do things over in the other side. You can eat. There's great food. It's actually for theme park food. The food in both parts of Harry Potter's experience, I've had food in both sides. It's very nice. Yes, we can arrange a special breakfast. We'll get to that later. So there's lots of things you can actually do and see there and be fully immersed. But there's plenty of other things as well. In the Islands of Adventure, there are other great roller coasters. We have the Velocicoaster, which, even though, listen, I'm not a fan of inversion roller coasters, but this was actually gentle on me. I truly enjoyed it, and the only spoiler alert is, if you're not paying attention near the end, you will be paying attention at the end. So, and then there's also the Incredible Hulk coaster. There's there's great coasters. Some of the best in Central Florida, no doubt, are there. Also, there are other great rides. Spider-Man is there. There are other things in the Island of Adventure. We have the two great water rides that you will get wet, and there's also some Jurassic Park things there. It's really quite nice. And the other side, the regular Universal Studios, for lack of a better term, you have the E.T. ride, you have the Men in Black ride, and there's a new part of that park that just opened. So talk about that.
We just opened actually officially on August 11th, the Minions Illumination Land. So that consists of a few other cute little areas to explore, as well as a new ride. So the ride that we have is Villain Con Minion Blast, which is an interactive, immersive kind of video game style of ride, and it's truly one that actually it's a unique. When you say video game, we're used to the ones where we're kind of sitting down, right, and we're holding some type of a interactive, for lack of a better word, shooter machine, let's say, video control, let's say. That's usually attached to the attraction. But this one is super different. It's very immersive, interactive. It's basically, you're standing up, and it's long too, right? You're actually standing, and you're holding independently the blaster. And you can also you can match the blaster with your app. So we do need to actually talk about the Universal app as well, if you really want to get the most out of your visit. You can link it with the app so you can keep track of your points. You can compete with your friends and your family. You can set your records. But it's a very long ride that's kind of meandering through these various scenes. You're kind of scoring points to see if you can become part of the notorious group of supervillains from the Minions hit, Rise of the Gru. So if you want to kind of join I think it's the Vicious Six or something of that. Yeah, the Vicious Six. If you want to join the Vicious Six, you have to get those points to score at the very end. But it's a very cool ride. So that opened officially August 11th. We also opened a couple of other dining options. So the Illuminations Minion Cafe, which again, you talked about the food at Wizarding World of Harry Potter. It's, truly in keeping with the land itself, and the Minions Cafe certainly is no different. The food is very unique. I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but it's all very, very unique, themed to the Minions. You can go ahead and tap into the Universal app to pull up the menus there. But I would say it's delicious. My co-workers have eaten there many, many times. I've only had the opportunity to go there once, but it's a very unique experience. And then we also have Bake My Day, which is where after you've enjoyed your dinner or your lunch at Minions Cafe, you can go over to Bake My Day and pick up a delicious dessert, a cupcake, a cake pop, let's say, and there's also some very cute merchandise in there as well. And then we've got this new stand for popsicles that are kind of themed like the Minions, lots of different flavors, certainly a great way to cool down in the Florida heat. And again, I always like to say the food and the drink is also a part of your experience when you're coming to one of our parks, because it's unique. You're not going to find this stuff outside of Universal. We really do a good job, or our team does, I should say, of capturing the theme in a bite or a sip of a drink to really kind of elevate your experience with us.
Yeah, no, it's good that you have that. And again, there are some other great rides and attractions over at the original. We have the Jimmy Fallon ride, the New York. We also have the Simpsons ride. And yes, you can get beer at right by. It's because they have that little Springfield area. So there's really lots to recommend. Let's move along. Let's talk quickly about Volcano Bay, the water park, and how it's different from other water parks that you might visit.
Yeah, it's very, very different. First off, if you're coming to Orlando, you're not going to drive down I-4 without seeing the huge volcano that is the centerpiece of Volcano Bay. And again, we sometimes get people that come and they book the 2-day or the 2-park ticket and kind of, really don't give much thought to Volcano Bay until you're there and you see it and your kids are like, what is that thing? I want to go there. Why am I not going and seeing that volcano? But it is a truly unique park, very different from lots of other parks. And this is something that Universal does very well and will continue to elevate the bar. Actually, you mentioned epic. So we're going to take things to an epic new level there. But we did so with this theme park at the water level. So what's unique about Volcano Bay is everybody that goes actually gets an apparatus that's called a tapu tapu. And it's kind of like, a little watch band, let's say, that is waterproof. Everybody gets it, whether you're a child or an adult. And that band is really unlocking different ways that you can interact with the park throughout the day and making your day there much easier and simple. There's 5 different things that you can do with the tapu tapu. Number one, my favorite, and again, what sets Universal's Volcano Bay apart from other water rides, is that it is a virtual line system. So with the tapu tapu, what you'll do is you will identify the ride that you would like to go on and experience. You'll tap in your little watch band, let's say, you'll tap it into the ride and it will log it, and then it will tell you a time to come back. The band will actually vibrate and tell you when to come back to. So instead of standing in a line, spending your day there, standing in line, you can just go ahead and go and enjoy the lazy river. In fact, we've got two lazy rivers. One is a lazy river. One's a bit of a crazy river that goes a bit faster. You can go in the wave pool. You can enjoy a cocktail. You can hang with your kids at the Runamukka Reef area. That's great for the little tots. And then come back to your ride, and you're not wasting a moment of your day. So that is one way that you enjoy the Tapu Tapu. Another way is you can link actually your credit card to it. So you're not coming and going back to get your card or your cash when you want something to eat or drink. You just link that up to your Tapu Tapu, and that's all you have to do is carry that around with you. Lockers as well, so you can pay, so you can play, you can pay. You can also unlock your lockers there directly. So again, you don't have to worry about carrying a key. You don't have to worry about, again, what you do with your belongings. You can lock them all safe there. And the other thing you can do is you can interact. You can be a little bit cheeky. So throughout the park, we've got stations where say someone else is enjoying a leisurely ride down the lazy river, you can go ahead and have some fun. You can tap in and you can spray them. You can play with the people that are, unbeknownst to them. You can go ahead and tap your little Tapu Tapu, and you can squirt water on them and have some fun that way. You can also take pictures. So again, don't have to worry about carrying your phone around with you. Throughout the park, we have lots of different photo moments that we've set up. Again, you can tap in your Tapu Tapu, take your family picture in the special areas that are designated with beautiful backdrops, picture frames, all sorts of things, and enjoy the day. So you really only need to bring yourself, your bathing suit, and that Tapu Tapu, and that gets you through the whole day without having to kind of keep going back and forth to your lockers. So
very nice. That does make it more convenient. There's no doubt. I think this is another reason why I tend to recommend, if you're going to get the full-on Universal experience, do 4 nights, because basically how I would map it out in my head would be, you would do one day in one of the, you would get the park to park ticket, which would be you get access to all 3 parks at any time, but you spend one day in one park of your choice, either or Islands of Adventure or the original Universal Studios. Then you spend one day at the other park. Then the 3rd day you go to Volcano Bay, and the 4th day you go and you can catch up on everything you missed or everything you want to do again. And that makes a 4-day trip very nice. And I think that's sort of like the sweet spot. 4 to 5 nights is a sweet spot to stay Universal. Now,
actually, that is our average length of stay for packages that are booked is a 4-night stay, because as you said, we've got the 3 parks. You want to have a little bit of downtime in between. Because our on-site properties all have beautiful resort pools, which I know we haven't had a chance to chat about those yet, but it's really easy. I know you've talked as well, Scott, about spending one day here, one day there, and another day in another, but what makes Universal unique is you can kind of come and go as you please. So if you do get that park-to-park ticket and you are staying on property, you could spend the morning, say, at Islands of Adventure. You could come back to the hotel when it's, hot during the middle of the day in the summer and relax at the pool, have some downtime. And then you could go back to the park in the evening. And as you said, Scott, go on Hagrid's. Well, it's nighttime for a completely different experience. So you can kind of come and go without having to make tons of reservations, without having to overschedule yourself where it becomes too, more work than fun.
Right. And this will segue right into my next spot, which is the hotels. There are several different, classes of hotels at Universal. Now, I understand if budget's an issue, that sometimes you can't stay at the premier resorts, but it's a math problem. And this is how I'm going to explain it. There are 3 hotels, the Royal Pacific, the Hard Rock, and the Portofino, which are considered the premier brands at Universal. What clients get, travelers get when they go and book those 3 resorts, they get the Express Pass. Now, the Express Pass, I'm a family of 5, okay? So if I'm going and I'm doing 3 days of parks, okay, and I have my Express Pass, all right, for 3 days, because Express Passes are available to the general public, but they are available on a dynamic pricing basis. Mm-hmm. So there are some days, and I've seen it, where the Express Pass has gone for as much as $150, $200 per person. So if you have a family of 5 like me, if it's $150 per person, that's $750 to get the Express Pass. Now, if you do that over the course of 3 days, that's $2,250. Now, I assure you that an accommodation at the Royal Pacific or the Hard Rock or the Portofino, you will actually save money. And time is money also, because if you go to the Universal app and you download it and you see what the wait times are on some of these rides, it's like, oh my gosh, I can't handle it, right? 90 minutes for this, 120 minutes for that. Hagrid's is a good example because it's not on the Express Pass, and regularly the line for that is easily 90 minutes, if not more, just about every day, from about an hour after opening to the end of the day. So time is money. You can literally save hours by getting the Express Pass from one of the 3 premier hotels. Now, there are other hotels that are recommendable. Cabana Bay is right next to Volcano Bay. So if you're more into that, and it's really well themed, and it's a close walk also to the main parks. And then there are other hotels too that people on budget can take care of and go to, but they understand they'll still get the hour in early, which is important, but they won't get all the other benefits. And I think it's important for people to understand, on a cost basis, that sometimes staying at the higher level for an extra $150 a night or whatever it turns out to be, that's about right to go to the Royal Pacific usually versus Cabana Bay. The benefits just are amazing.
Yes, it's amazing. So yeah, as you said, we got those 3 hotels which are in the premier category. They're definitely the higher luxury hotels, full service hotels where you have the on-site restaurants, multiple dining options. You have the poolside service where people the staff will come and take your order, bring your food and drinks to you poolside. There's lots of other amenities, but including as well, merchandise delivery to your room. If you're out at the parks and you don't want to carry all your shopping and your stuff around, you can have that delivered to your room. Actually, with any of our properties, that is true for. But with the Premier, what really sets them aside is that Universal Express Unlimited Pass, because there are 2 different Express passes you can buy. There's the Standard Express, which basically kind of expedites you into a separate line. For those that aren't quite as familiar with Express, it's you get out of the regular line, you get into a separate line that is dedicated to Express. And we have to say it kind of cuts your time in half, but usually it's much less than that. But officially we have to say it could cut your wait time in half, but it's for me, it's always much better than that. So you get into that regular line. Now, the standard one, you can go on Velocicoaster, let's say once, and that's it. With the unlimited, it's exactly like it says. If you want to go on Velocicoaster over and over and over and over, you can do that with the Universal Express Unlimited. And that's what you get when you stay at a Premier hotel. And it's not just for the lead guest, it's for every guest that's listed in that room. So you do have to know all the guest names, because you do get your key, your room key actually with your name printed on it, and that will act as your Express Pass when you're in the park. That's why you see people walking around with those lanyards. The lanyards are a big thing with us to keep those little passes handy. But everybody gets the Unlimited Express. So like you said, if you're a family of say 4 or 5, a family of 4 can easily fit into one of our standard rooms. Now, a family of 5, you can definitely do that. 2 adults, 3 kids with a rollaway bed. You would have to pay extra for that rollaway to get that in. But you can have 5 people in a standard room, and each one of you qualifies for that express. Now, what's extra cool about it, Scott, is even if you're staying for just one night, that day you check in, you get the express right through to the day you check out. So even just one night, you get 2 days worth of express for everybody in the room. So, like I said, it's a
That's early in the morning. I must say that's also early in the morning. You can check in even if the room is not ready. The bell services will hold your luggage, and you can check in your room as early as 8 o'clock in the morning, and you can and then they'll activate your stuff, and then you're good to make the short walk. In the case of the Royal Pacific or the Hard Rock, or take the boat from the Portofino and make your way. It again, time is money, folks, and it really is amazing. In fact, some people I recommend they do a split stay.
Mm-hmm.
They can stay at like a Cabana Bay or the Aventura or one of the other hotels, but when they want to really get the full-on experience, they just do the one night at one of the 3 premier hotels. And again, that's one of those money-saving ways they can go ahead and save some money. There's no question about that. Now,
I just want to add a great tip for that too is if you are staying at one of the premier properties first, they will actually transfer your luggage for you to the next hotel. So
that works great. So if you want to do 2 nights, if you want to do 1 or 2 nights at, say, the Royal Pacific, and then you want to do 2 nights over at the Cabana Bay, there you go. And how nice is that?
Yeah,
I mean, it really is. Now, I want to talk about the City Walk area. That's the entertainment and dining mecca of Central Florida. The best donuts, Voodoo Donuts, is there. I love those. There's a wide variety of restaurants. There's a wide variety of entertainment, and it's all literally adjacent to the parks. And if you're staying on site, again, it's a really quick walk from the two from the 2 parks, from the 2 main land parks. It's a very quick walk, and you're already in City Walk. You can go pay homage to Jimmy Buffett at Margaritaville. Emerald has a restaurant. There's just so many things. So a couple minutes on that before we have to rock and roll out of here.
Yeah, so City Walk is kind of like the epicenter. You can kind of come and go as you please. As you said, it connects both the Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure. You kind of congregate through City Walk to get into both of those parks. And actually, we like to refer to ourselves as a campus because it's a very easy place to navigate. But City Walk is open from, the morning. You could grab your Voodoo donut, and then you could party if you wanted until 2 a.m. It's literally from morning until evening. It's not a ticketed entrance. So if you're staying on property, but not necessarily maybe going to the parks, or you have your free day where maybe you don't have a ticket ready that you want to use for that day, you can spend time at City Walk. There's loads of things to do. We also have a movie theater there. We have put golfing there. We have the Great Movie Escape, which is kind of a new twist on an escape room with 2 different themes, either the Jurassic World theme or Back to the Future. Again, great for families to do there. And again, lots of food, drinking options in between. And it's not just, the restaurants. We have quick service dining options as well, like a Burger King and a Panda Express. We've got a sandwich shop, Menchie's. All the kids love the Menchie's frozen yogurt there as well. I know my daughter does. And lots of shops in between as well. So you can pick up your Universal merchandise from City Walk as well. So it's a great spot from morning until nighttime.
Yeah, no, it's great fun, and I know that I've enjoyed that. The experience there numerous times, and like I say, there's something for everyone. I think that's the bottom line when it comes to Universal Orlando Resorts. There's something for everyone, which is really important. Now, we don't have time to touch upon the Hollywood experience, but I will say that before there was Florida, there was Hollywood, and I've been there too. I was there in Hollywood in 1992. And I enjoyed my time at Universal there. There actually are some working studios there as well. And so it's a lot of fun. And also other things we need to just sort of remind people of there are special events throughout the year at Universal Orlando Resorts. Right now, Halloween Horror Nights is going on, which is it's a real scare fest. If you scare easily, you may want to just take care. But for folks who have a strong constitution, it's great. The Macy's Parade actually shows up Christmas time, so you can see that. There's Mardi Gras in the spring, all kinds of things. So there's never a lack of things to do when it comes to Universal Orlando Vacation. And again, with the new terminal opening up at the Orlando airport, there's more flights, lots of direct flights from all over the country go to Orlando. It's still one of the hottest tourist destinations. 30-minute ride from the airport to the resorts, and you're all set to go. So again, there's so much to talk about, but so little time. And I'm going to have to tell Amanda, thank you so much for being on board on this podcast. I appreciate that. And everyone out there, 4 nights stay at Universal Orlando. I'll make sure you get $50 to use for whatever you want to use when you're there, because there's plenty of options there. And again, there's all kinds of other things. If you need more information on the Universal Orlando experience, I'm happy to help. So just make sure you be in touch. It's Walter's Wanderings Travel, and we'll check you out on the next podcast. Thank you very much, and everyone have a great day.